Hey, what's going on, guys? So Elon Musk just bought Twitter. It is official. Elon Musk is now the official owner of Twitter. And I'm going to break some of this down for you. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every single day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, under one condition. The condition is that you must be Black first. The Black first doesn't mean you have to be Black. It just means you have to understand that we are here for the Black community. We are here to close the racial wealth gap. We are here to end generational curses. We are here to make sure our children are prepared for the future. If you agree with the philosophy, put a hashtag B in the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. So let's talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk just bought Twitter. How many of y'all know that Elon Musk bought Twitter? Give me a yes in the chat if you are aware of what's been going on in the ongoing back and forth between Elon Musk and Twitter. Ahal says, I'm not buying Elon Musk. All right, Golden Lady says that she was first. Well, you were pretty close to being first. That's pretty good. I commend you. I commend you. I see you. I see you, a lady. All right, so so Elon Musk just bought Twitter, and that's a big deal. It's a huge deal. This is an activist move, in my view. This wasn't about the money. This is about something bigger than the money. And in Musk's words, it's all about freedom of speech. He strongly believes that free speech is important, and I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's true. I think the bigger question is whether or not Musk is going to be or should be the guardian of free speech in America. That becomes kind of the issue, right? And what does that look like? When you talk about him allowing Donald Trump back on Twitter, or him deciding that just anything goes on Twitter. Could he end up ruining Twitter as a result? I don't know. But give me a yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. How many of you are happy that Musk went in and took over Twitter? Give me a yes in the chat if you feel that Elon Musk buying Twitter is a good thing for the world. Diana says that's great. Let's see here. Let's see. Goldheart says time to run up the options. Oh yeah, with the Twitter options, I can imagine what that looks like. Okay, Matt says yes. Who now? Let's see. I saw a no. Who said no? I want to make sure. Lanray, is that how you pronounce it? Lanray. All right. So I see more yeses than no, but BG says no. Karen says no. Davey thumbs up. Al, yes. Okay. All right. So Elon Musk buying Twitter is something that makes some of you happy. Some of you are not happy about it, and some of you might just sort of be cautiously optimistic. I'm in the cautiously optimistic category. I think that the way Twitter has been running has been annoying and atrocious. I am a person, again, I'm biased because I'm from academia, and in academia, one of the things we don't believe, at least true scholars don't believe this, is that you should shut people down just because their opinion is different from yours, or just because their point of view hurts your feelings, or just because what they're saying isn't popular. That's incredibly dangerous. And for that reason, if Musk is sincere in what he says, that he wants, he wants the town square, the digital town square, which is what Twitter is. If he's really serious about making the town square free for all, then I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan. Even people that say things negative about me or about Black people, I don't care. You call me the N-word, I'm gonna call you a word, right? I can throw words. You got words, I got words. I ain't scared of your words, and I never got that. But again, this is my personal opinion. I've never been one of those people where some raggedy hillbilly with no teeth in his mouth could walk up and call me the N-word and they get me to be like, oh, I'm going to jail now. I'm going to jail now. I'm gonna whoop you now. What am I trying to prove to you? What am I trying to prove to you? I ain't got I don't owe you nothing. So what? So what? You call me a name, I'm gonna call you a name back, and then we're gonna keep it moving. Right? So anybody who thinks that there is language that should be censored, I encourage you to reconsider that. Sure, okay, some language can be dangerous, right? You're telling little kids to go smoke crack. I'm not going to stop people from telling you that you can't do that, right? But when you're talking about the pandemic, if anything really showed you the dangers of censorship, the pandemic was a perfect example, because many of you were saying things all through the pandemic that would have gotten you banned on Twitter, would have gotten you banned on YouTube, would have gotten you banned on Facebook. And then guess what? It turned out you were right. Some of the things that you were saying a few months into 2020 that would have gotten you banned on Twitter were correct. Scientifically proven to be correct. When you talked about natural immunity, you were correct. When you were talking about, about just the risks of the virus and all these other things, you were correct. There were so many things that people were saying during the pandemic that were correct, but Twitter decided that the only person allowed to speak is Dr. Fauci and his disciples. And that was it. That was wrong. That was absolutely wrong. When you're discrediting doctors who went to the best schools and medical schools in this country, you're discrediting them and smearing them and trying to destroy them because they're saying something different from what you think the country needs to know. That's a bunch of BS. It reminds me of being in a really jacked up church. You ever go to a crappy church? I'm not talking about the good churches. I'm talking about a crappy church where they believe that they know exactly what happens when you go to heaven. They believe that they know exactly what God wants, and that God don't want you wearing them shoes. God don't want you having a mustache. God don't want you wearing a skirt today. And they act like they have a monopoly on the Lord, right? Ain't nobody got a monopoly on God. Right? Just like you don't have a monopoly on the truth. So stop fronting, stop acting like you do. That is how I feel about freedom of speech. That is how I feel about a country that committed itself to various forms of censorship that were incredibly problematic just in the last 2 years. You're going to have another national emergency that's going to end up causing the same kind of confusion in the future. The question that I ask myself is, okay, so Elon Musk has come in to liberate Twitter, almost the way George Bush said he was liberating the Iraqi people from Saddam Hussein, right? But the question I would ask is the new dictator better than the old one? Is it better to have a Twitter that's controlled by Elon Musk and his truth? How willing is he to share that platform openly with people who may use the platform to share a message that is not beneficial to his personal interest? Now, he says that he can do that. He says he can allow his enemies to speak and speak as what, about whatever they want. I believe that. I believe he's sincere about it, but I'd like to see it, and if I see it, then I'm all for it. Twitter is crap, man. Twitter is a crappy company. Twitter is a crappy stock. Twitter is a mediocre technology. Twitter has not fulfilled 1/10 of its potential, in my view. Twitter can't even run an ad system right. Their ads network is garbage. So Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Let me just talk about this from a financial standpoint. I'm gonna pull up a screenshot of Twitter stock, and so we can kind of look at the tail of Twitter in terms of what the stock price has done over the last couple of years. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you could, please. We're building Black-owned media. We believe that's important because we need our own freedom of speech. I ain't depending on Elon Musk for nothing, but I actually support the man on this particular move because I think it's good for the country. So here's what Twitter stock was doing today. You see Twitter stock went up when it looked like the offer was going through. It still hasn't hit that full 54.20 price, which tells me that there's still some uncertainty about the final terms of the deal actually being, sort of signed, sealed, and delivered. Because if it were 100% through, then the stock price would be like 54.15 or 54.10 or 54.05. So there's still some uncertainty, right? You can still have some regulators pop in and say, we don't know if we want one guy deciding if congressmen and presidents of the United States should have a right to speak. Right, that's a problem, right? But hey, maybe King Elon will be a noble king. I have no idea. The technocrats are officially taking over, and so you look at the 6-month play on Twitter stock. It's been garbage. It's red is bad, by the way. The company it isn't making hardly any money. It doesn't appear to be profitable. I got to double check, see how profitable it is. Their market cap has been sinking. And if you go back a year, look at this. That's what you get. You go back 5 years, you get some green, okay, but you had a peak. You had Twitter stock trading in the 70s. Now it's Elon can buy it for 54.20. So some would say that if you compare it to its peak, which occurred about, I think, here at 77, which is February 26, 2021, that it could be a good deal. The downside of that is that at that point, everything in the stock market was significantly overpriced. So ultimately, he still may be overpaying for this particular stock. Now, I think that there is a lot of possibility there. I really think that Twitter can be made into a better company. So I think that this could be a deal that makes Elon some money and also allows him to save the world. That's what he's doing. He's a save the world kind of guy. I'm not against it because the way he wants to save the world happens to correlate with what I believe. Right? I believe we need to go to Mars. I believe we need to get all get off our addiction to fossil fuels. I believe in things like being smart and intelligent. I think it's okay to be smart. I tell you guys, this platform is for intelligent Black people, and people get mad at me. They think I'm being uppity because I'm telling Black people to be intelligent. I'm like, well, what do you want Black people to be stupid? So ultimately, Elon Musk, by being a smart guy who wants to save the earth and who wants to go to Mars, I'm all for all of that. So I like the money in his hand versus having that money in the hands of people that just want to buy Mercedes Benzes and I don't tell people what to do. But with that said, I wonder what kind of a CEO he's going to be, or a chairman of the board, or an owner, or whatever his official title is, the king of Twitter. I don't know if he has the time to do it and do it effectively. I wonder if he is stretching himself too thin. And I'd be willing to bet you, I haven't looked at Tesla stock, but I'd be willing to bet you that since the moment where this announcement was made, that Tesla stock has continued to dip a little bit. And I'm looking here, and Tesla stock did go down a little bit less than 1% today. Not too bad, but over the last 5 days, since the announcement has been made that Elon was going to take over, Tesla stock is down just a little bit, though. Not dramatically down, but it's down a little bit because I don't believe his investors feel that he has the capacity to run Tesla and SpaceX and the Boring Company and Twitter at the same time. But then again, Elon Musk tends to prove people wrong. If you want to know more terms of the deal is for $44 billion. Musk says that Twitter being open source and free and everything is essential to the functioning of a democracy. I do agree. In case you don't know, in the U.S., you're not really living in a democracy. You're actually living in some sort of I forgot what term they used. Aristocracy, I guess, maybe that, perhaps, I don't know, but basically the techies have a lot of power, and also wealthy people control a lot of power. And if you look at things like the Supreme Court and stuff like that, it doesn't really always represent the interests of the people. A lot of your Supreme Court justices come from Ivy League schools. Like recently, Judge Katanji came from Harvard. Obama's appointees came from Harvard. So there is kind of an elitism that occurs here in the United States. Also, economic inequality has gotten worse since the Fed has pretty much supported this massive bubble in asset prices over the last 15, 20 years. Quantitative easing and the devaluation of the currency means that the working class has worked harder to make less money. The working class has worked harder to make less money. So ultimately, your dollars are not worth what they used to be. Also, the assets, the stocks that you own, even they're not worth what you think. If you denominate them in dollars, it looks like you're making money. But if you denominate these asset prices in gold, a much more stable currency, you actually find that Americans are doing worse than they were, say, 15, 20 years ago. Now, would I recommend buying Twitter stock? No. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not telling you not to buy it. I don't know enough right now about the stock and the fundamentals to tell you whether I'd buy it or not buy it. I'll get back to you on some of that after I do some research on it. But I'm looking here and I want to see some of the financials of Twitter in terms of what their economic numbers look like. Let me see here. What do they have going on in terms of revenue and net income and all that stuff? Let me see here. The market cap is $39.47 billion. The current CEO is a guy with the last name Agarwal. And let me see, Twitter net income 2021. Twitter's net income for 2021 was roughly, let's see, they said in the last reported quarter, the social network Twitter generated a total net income of roughly $181 million. The net income or loss for every quarter in the third quarter of 2021, they generated 536 million. Let's see, quarter two, 2021, 65 million. That's not actually terrible. That's not entirely terrible. Let's see here. I'm looking here to see what else they have going on here. Now they have had declines in net income recently, and they're trying different things to try to gain more relevance. I don't think any of these things are working. I don't think Twitter is really tapping into its potential. A lot of these social media platforms are making their money from ads. That's it. Facebook, it's their ad network that does everything for them. Google is the ad network. That's what it is. So Twitter, I thought, would be able to really capitalize on the development of a quality ad network, and it's just not that good. I've tried it. It's just not, extraordinarily good. Now, Dogecoin, I don't want to buy Dogecoin. I don't believe it has any value, but at the same time, I bet Dogecoin went up because Elon Musk seems to make things real. And if you own Dogecoin, I'm not against what you're doing at all. I hope that what you're doing ends up working out for you. I just don't necessarily want to be heavily involved in Dogecoin. If I bought it, it would just be for fun. It would be like a party trick. It would just be something to do in my spare time. So ultimately, Twitter is a company that has a lot of potential, and Musk seems to think he can bring it out. And I think that this is a good move for society. And I'm reading more here, and it says here that he said he would be open. He would open up the website's algorithm, putting content moderation decisions into clear view. Although some researchers have said that would be difficult. He has also pushed for simple, broadly popular changes, such as adding an edit button, as well as pledging to eliminate spam bots. And he has said he wants to open up Twitter's verification process to more users so the authenticity of accounts can be determined more easily. Twitter had seemed poised to reject the offer. They actually implemented a poison pill to kind of slow him down. It wasn't to kill off the deal. It was just kind of slow him down. A poison pill. It's basically putting something in the company to make it unattractive, right? So I personally thought that Musk wasn't going to go through with the deal. I'm going to go ahead and admit that I really thought Musk wasn't going to be able to do it, but he did it. He got the money and he's made it happen. So he's proved me wrong, and I acknowledge that for sure. They said that the two sides were focused on determining whether Musk had the financing to complete the acquisition, and did not spend much time discussing Musk's strategy for the future of the social network. Musk had also met privately with several large Twitter shareholders in recent days, with some expressing their support for his bid. The person said the two sides did not see regulatory issues such as an antitrust review as likely roadblocks to closing the deal. So Musk spoke to some major shareholders. I imagine a major shareholder, your big concern is getting money out of this thing. Remember, the stock has been tanking for a while. When company stock tanks, that tends to make them open for potential takeover target. They said Musk is worth about $259 billion, according to Bloomberg's Billionaires Index, but much of his wealth is tied up in stock. The entrepreneur serves as CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and he co-founded PayPal. Beyond bank loans, it's unclear how Musk intends to pay for the more than $21 billion of the deal, which he described as equity financing from himself. He could borrow against or sell his shares of Tesla stock, although that path would raise risk for the share price of the electric car maker. So if Musk decides that he wants to put his Tesla shares up against this transaction or sell his shares, then you're talking about a negative impact on the value of his other assets, right? So if he's letting go of Tesla stock, the Tesla stock price will drop. So if you are an owner of Tesla, be mindful of what he does. Also, Tesla stock is incredibly volatile. That high volatility could make it difficult to use as any sort of backing for a loan. A lot of times when banks want to collateralize something, they're not real interested in your crazy shifty stock that could drop because you slipped in the bathtub that day. And remember, Tesla has a lot of what is called key man risk, meaning that if Musk is gone, then that means Tesla stock is going to get hammered because Musk is the superstar that's making all this go. They said also, let's see here, Musk took a more than 9% stake in Twitter earlier this year, leading to 2 wild weeks of back and forth with the company. The company announced he would join the board, then days later said he had withdrawn. Musk launched his hostile takeover bid soon after. The board's willingness to entertain constructive conversations makes the deal more likely. It appears that Elon does have the board backed into a corner. As of Monday afternoon, the proposed deal did not include a so-called go shop provision. That is a common term in large mergers, which allows boards of directors to continue seeking a higher offer from other potential bidders. The person familiar with the deal said the absence of this provision is likely to make this deal close faster. So because the board can't go find a white knight, so to speak, a white knight is another company that comes in and that you say, look, we want you to buy us so that they don't buy us, right? A white knight's like a new pimp, right? You go and you find a better pimp because you're saying, oh my God, this other pimp is taking over the block. We need a pimp that's going to be more benevolent to our cause. So they don't have that provision. They can't go find another buyer. They have to stick with Musk. They said Musk is very active on the platform. He's tweeted more than 17,300 times. He averages 125,180 likes per tweet, according to Social Tracker. Musk has earned praise for his wide-ranging approach to the site. He said that he chose the number 420 because he had recently learned about the number's significance in marijuana culture and thought his girlfriend would find it funny, which admittedly is not a great reason to pick a price, according to the federal complaint. So basically, the Securities and Exchange Commission has filed a complaint against Elon Musk, stating that he was in a violation that he. Scratch that. I apologize. This was actually related to him in 2018 tweeting that he secured funding to take Tesla private. But actually, the number 420 is relevant twice, because here what he said was he was going to take Tesla private at $420 a share, which would have been a hell of a deal. I mean, because look at Tesla stock now, my God. And apparently he says that in the back end, he was negotiating with somebody who was going to give him the money to do it. And then they backed out, and it caused him to look like he was lying. So the SEC has been giving him a hard time since then. And I didn't know this. He chose the number 420 because that 420 number is a big deal in the cannabis culture. Cannabis will eventually be legalized. So the number 420 means something. I believe that's the date that something interesting happens in cannabis. I'd be stupid. I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew exactly what was going on with that. But actually, if you look at the recent bid that Musk made on Twitter, the bid was 54.20. So that 420 pops up again. That tells me that Musk is deeply connected to the cannabis culture. It will be interesting to see how he ties that new emerging industry of cannabis into his ownership of Twitter. I would be 420 Global Smoke Day. Is that the Global Smoke? Is that what it is? Okay, Global Smoke Day. In case you want to know, I did not participate in Global Smoke Day because I do not put anything in my brain that is a mind-altering substance, because I'm a black man and I believe I need to have all my faculties. And then also, if you don't think that they're putting stuff in some of that synthetic weed, you out of your damn mind. I believe that they are using some of that stuff to do things to your mind that you may not know. Also, I would encourage young people to be really careful, because studies do show that when you're young, if you smoke a lot, it does destroy brain cells and does inhibit your ability to have motivation or your ability to engage in critical thinking. I share these things on my Instagram page. It annoys people, but it's built on scientific research. So what I would encourage you to do is make sure whatever you choose to do, you do it because that is what's best for you, and you've made that decision, not because you saw Snoop Dogg smoking himself into an early grave on the internet. And I hate saying it. I like Snoop. I love him. He's the coolest dude in the world. I play Call of Duty. He's got a little skin on Call of Duty. He's making money. God bless him. But I really I wonder what his health is like. And a lot of celebrities don't talk to y'all about that. They don't talk about the downside of whatever lifestyle they're maintaining. And so I would just encourage you to just think through everything that you do. But I do partake in CBD, because CBD is something great to rub on my legs whenever I finish running, because I got those old man legs and my legs start hurting. I put CBD on, it makes it better. Okay. So with that said, though, this cannabis thing is interesting to me because it makes me wonder if Elon Musk has an angle, right? If he has some angle, some plan where he's going to tie Twitter into that whole emerging cannabis space. And if he finds one good move, one good revenue generator, one good source of growth that's linked to cannabis, that could be the thing that explodes the sucker. I think it's a good move. Elon, if you're watching, I think it's smart that you made this decision. I know it's very, very risky. I think it's good for the world, and it's going to be good for your bank account. And so don't be surprised if you see Twitter stock rising, just like Tesla stock rose. The other thing that Elon Musk has that really is just liquid gold is he's just so popular. Everybody loves this dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people that don't like him. Everybody has critics. But for the most part, people are rooting for him. They love it. They'll fund his trip to Mars. All he's got to do is build the technology. They'll give him the money to make it happen. And I really just think that he's kind of going down in history as one of the most iconic white guys in our generation. He's not one of the most iconic people in my world. My icon is Dr. Claude Anderson. My Elon Musk is Dr. Claude. You know, he's my George Washington. He's my Ben Franklin. He's all of that for me. Right. But if I'm not black, if I'm not trying to, solve the problems that we're solving in our space, I'm looking at Musk and saying, you know what? I think that what you're doing is good for the world, and I want to see him succeed. So this buy on Twitter has my stamp of approval. I like people that shake things up, and I think it's going to be amazing to see what he does with this. So God bless Elon. And again, if you think I diss Snoop Dogg, please don't think I'm dissing him, because I know Ice Cube and stuff, and sometimes I say stuff and makes people think makes them rub them the wrong way and all that. I'm not anti Snoop Dogg. I like the guy. I just don't want you to go out here copying celebrities, because celebrities are not, they're humans just like you. I need you to live your life, not Snoop Dogg's life. You got it? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope I can say that and still be loved. All right. Well, I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna go spend time with my wife. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Also, don't forget, this week the One Africa Unity Summit is in Detroit. They also have virtual tickets. You can get the passes at boycewatkins.com. Just click on events and you can see the other events we have. I'm going to be at the I Am a Man March with King Randall down in Albany, Georgia. He's building a school down there, a life preparatory school for Black boys down in Albany, Georgia. I just did an interview with him. I encourage you to check that out. Also, we're going to be in Chicago next month. My wife and I are going to do an event in Chicago. We got events in Charlotte and Atlanta and Brooklyn and Los Angeles and London and all over the place. So if you want to come hang out with us and do stuff with us, just go to boycewatkins.com. You can see a lot of the things we have going on, and I'd love to meet you in person. All right, guys, love you. Have a good day. God bless you, and I will. I'll give you an update again today if I hear anything new on this Twitter front. So make sure you subscribe and get notifications so I can keep you posted. Talk to you later. Love you. Peace.